Game shows typically reward exceptional knowledge, but some of the greatest moments in game show history have been exceptional for very different and very hilarious reasons. The funniest game show fails. Naughty Mr. Chips. The British game show Catchphrase, where contestants try to decipher common phrases out of images that represent them, ran 18 seasons on ITV, but didn't get any more amusing than one particular 1994 episode. A bonus challenge between contestants Sean and Marita slowly revealed an image clue behind 9 digital tiles featuring game mascot Mr. Chips, but as the tiles were removed, the image came to appear as though Mr. Chips was, well, pleasuring himself. This may not have been what the show intended for its mascot, but it brought plenty of laughs from the contestants, studio audience, and even host Roy Walker. What is a hoe? Even the sharpest of minds can put their foot in their mouth from time to time. Amidst an unprecedented stretch of Jeopardy dominance that saw him as champion through 75 games and win over $3 million in prize money, Ken Jennings went a little too colloquial by responding with, "What is a hoe?" to the clue. This term for a long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. It's hard to fault Jennings here for what seems to be a pretty accurate answer, and the correct response was a rake. Ironically, this flub occurred in the 75th and final game of his reign, one in which he was finally defeated by challenger Nancy Zerg. Handicapped treadmill winner. Danielle Perez is a comedian by trade, but even she couldn't have penned a funnier script to her experience on The Price is Right. The wheelchair-bound Perez came on down and even earned her way up to vie for a prize alongside host Drew Carey. Unfortunately, a cringe-inducing incident came about when part of her prize was revealed to be a treadmill, a piece of machinery for which she clearly had no use. She has, however, made the most of her experience since then. The comic has since appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live and has gained widespread viral recognition for an amusing mishap that she took completely in stride. Horses on the mind. There are wrong answers, but then there are answers that prompt the host to just walk right off the set in bewilderment. Okay, so Pat Sajak might have been playing things up a little when Wheel of Fortune contestant turned just one visible N into an incorrect guess of riding a brown horse. Not to be outdone, the next contestant added a G and followed by trying riding a white horse. This was too much for normally cool-headed Sajak, who returned to the set moments later by exasperatedly snapping, "Who said anything about a horse?" Naked Grandma. Few game shows lend themselves to outrageous contestant responses quite like Family Feud, which remains a key part of its enduring charm. Questions on the show never explicitly call for innuendo-charged answers, but many are often geared towards generating cheeky answers, flustered family members, and entertaining game show moments. However, one of the most famous replies ever heard on the show came on a relatively benign offering by Feud standards. Even host Steve Harvey appeared fluxed when a contestant named Steve loudly and confidently responded to a question that asked his respondents to name an item that a burglar was likely to find upon entering a home by shouting, "Naked Grandma." A bad case of urban. In a scene right out of an outdated, cliched stereotype, poor, blonde-haired contestant Kathy admits that her vocabulary can't extend quite far enough to know what newlywed game host Bob Eubanks means by the words urban and rural. Eubanks doesn't let up on his amusingly ditzy mark, asking her how long her husband has been urban and whether their doctor had prescribed him anything for it. An already laughing live studio audience, along with Eubanks, is then whipped into an absolute frenzy when Kathy replies that while the doctors didn't give her husband anything for the urban, he gave me something though. September baby bump. The fast money portion of the Family Feud, where 2 family members get 20 seconds each to answer the same set of 5 survey questions with unique responses, requires some quick thinking and the capacity to produce some rapid-fire answers. While speed is the key, the thinking part is still critical. Apparently, no one bothered to mention that to Kathy, who immediately replied to host Richard Dawson's question about what month a woman's pregnancy does she begin showing by blurting out, "September." She quickly realized what she had done, but by that point, it was already far too late. Age of consent. We're fairly sure that Tom, an otherwise highly intelligent Jeopardy contestant from earlier in 2015, is a nice, normal guy who just happened to produce a memorably creepy moment on the long-running game show, responding to a clue that read, "In common law, the age of this signaling adulthood is presumed to be 14 in boys and 12 in girls." Tom buzzed in with a rather pervy response of age of consent instead of puberty. No, Tom, 12-year-old girls cannot legally give you consent. Ugh. Right is wrong. Wheel of Fortune contestant Shermian had uncovered all but 5 letters of the puzzle, had run out of vowels, and was ready to solve. Unfortunately, her guess of "start in the right way" turned out to be wrong in a number of different ways. It didn't fit the category clue of things, nor did it acknowledge that the letters T and A had already been used. Perhaps worst and the funniest of all, the guest didn't even recognize that the already determined 4th word of the puzzle was actually night, not right. The next contestant, Brianna, needed to guess just 1 letter before correctly answering stars in the night sky. Oh crap! Fox's short-lived game show, Hole in the Wall, seems to have been created solely for the purpose of mocking the poor saps that couldn't quite fit in within the claustrophobic cutout shapes that they would need to match to avoid taking a dip into the water below. The show was never more cruel than on one particularly mean-spirited episode, in which a heavyset woman was challenged to contort her body into an impossibly ballerina-like acrobatic pose. After offering up an "oh crap," the wide-eyed fear on her face tells the story of someone woefully and, okay, a little humorously, out of their element. Hey, thanks for watching our video. Here's another couple videos we think you might like, and don't you dare forget to click thumbs up and subscribe.